Yeah, we reached out to Phoenix police about this arrest, but they aren't saying much about it. They only confirmed it's now under internal investigation. But this case raises a lot of questions, and it really serves as sort of a test case. And that's both for Phoenix and the DOJ. See, Phoenix is trying to prove it doesn't need federal oversight. But will the DOJ trust the city when things like this continue to happen? You've seen the surveillance video. A Phoenix officer pulling into a parking lot, pulling in front of a man, darting out of his truck, then immediately going after him. Now, this is the body camera footage.
Everybody stop where you're at.
Remember, the man is deaf and has cerebral palsy.
See. Taser. Put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Hold them. Move. Hands behind your back. Hands behind your back. Ultra X-ray taser deploy more units. Hand behind your back. Hand behind your back. One more. Hand behind your back. More. Hand behind your back. Hand behind your back.
Between the two officers, the man is punched at least 10 times and tasered 4 times.
He can't understand them. And he's deaf and he's physically compromised. The entire thing is just outrageous.
That's Jesse Showalter. He agreed to watch the video with us. And that's because he's an attorney for Tyrone McAlpin. Together, they're planning to bring an excessive force lawsuit against the Phoenix Police Department.
12 years you've lived here?
But before we get into that, first, let's get into why officers went after Tyrone.
And they wouldn't even give me a water jug after that.
When we look at the body camera that we've seen so far, what it shows is that Circle K employees had a Caucasian male in the store causing problems, and they called the police to trespass this person who wouldn't leave.
Hey, you guys just want this guy to trespass? Okay.
And when police arrive, they don't do any investigation to find out what this guy was doing in the store. Instead, they talk to the guy, and he claims that he was assaulted and points to somebody in the street that he claims did it.
The guy pointed at Tyrone, who was across the street.
You're saying that's the guy that's right there. Put the backwards head on. Yep.
I mean, so we have a situation where the officers respond. Some white guy says, hey, no, some black guy assaulted me, and they just drop what they're doing and head right over there.
That's what the video shows.
You're standing outside the door opening. That dude. Why don't you wait here first? The black guy?
Yeah. And that takes us back to this point.
Let's see.
And this police officer, out of the gate, assaults him and then uses Tyrone's attempts to protect himself to try to justify felony charges.
Officials charged Tyrone with aggravated assault and resisting arrest. In their reports, officers wrote Tyrone tried to walk away from them, took a fighting stance, threw repeated punches at them, and bit one of them.
Everything that I see in that video, as well as the other officer's body camera, looks like Tyrone's just trying to avoid being harmed by these officers. And that only makes them escalate the situation and increase the degree of violence that they're using.
One of the officers says Tyrone bit him. I mean, how do you respond to that?
Tyrone was face down on the ground with 2 officers striking and choking him, and that the only way that Tyrone could have possibly bit anybody on the hand or wrist is if one of those officers placed their hand or wrist in his mouth. And what it looks like from the video is that the officer who claims he was bitten was using an illegal chokehold on Tyrone.
Here's the question that, invariably, undoubtedly will be asked. Why didn't he just comply?
And the answer is easy, is he's deaf. He couldn't understand what they were doing, and he had done nothing wrong.
What
messing with him for no reason.
What kind of disabilities do you have?
He's deaf and he's got cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And I've been having a phone with him since Circle K.
How is he deaf if you've been on the phone?
Because I know sign language, that's why. I signed to him. That's why.
Nowhere in their police reports did the two officers document they were told about Tyrone's disabilities. But records do show when another cop went back to check store surveillance footage and talk to witnesses, none of it supported the white guy's claims. Remember, he told officers Tyrone assaulted him at the store, but there was no evidence of any assault. Store employees say the white guy was the one causing problems, getting aggressive, laying on the floor, and refusing to leave. In fact, store employees told police Tyrone tried to get him out of the store and eventually just left. Now, this all happened on August 19th. That's 2 months after the Department of Justice released the results of its historic investigation into Phoenix PD.
It's almost like a single example that illustrates all of the problems highlighted in the DOJ's report.
Among many failures, the DOJ found Phoenix PD has a pattern and practice of racial bias, escalation, and not giving people a chance to comply before using force, excessive use of tasers, dangerous use of chokeholds, and violating the rights of people with disabilities.
It's hard for me to understand how the city can come out and say with a straight face that it is meeting the DOJ report head on when this man, Tyrone McAlpin, is being charged with assault on police officers for this incident where, the video tells the whole story.
Hey, get up. Stand up. Oh.
I mean, so still now a month later, he's still facing charges for this.
That's correct.
He's in the cuffs.
Now, as you just heard, Tyrone is still facing several felony charges. In fact, even though those officers are under internal investigation, they still just went into court to testify against Tyrone. And as you can see, our cameras were there, and a judge ruled there was probable cause for the case to move forward. Now, in our next report, you'll hear those officers on the stand, hear their justification for the arrest, and you'll also see some bizarre moments in the courtroom.
Very tough to watch.